It's MamaFe, and I'm here Sunday afternoon with Jair, son, Miss Sydney, and they are
The isolation crew.
the isolation crew. I told you guys I was going to go live with them so that you all would be able to engage with them or just kind of get a feel for what they're going to be doing. So I wanted to do that today. So I'm going to let you, Sydney, tell me a little bit about the isolation crew. How did you guys come up with the name?
Wow, honestly, it was more of a brainstorm. We were sitting in the room. Honestly, I feel a little bit generic because I feel like nowadays everybody's like, "Oh, we should have a podcast. Our conversations are a little bit interesting." But we were just sitting in the room and we honestly had like five different names. And then we figured it out after we looked up all the names and it all were taken. But then we found isolation crew because we're both pretty isolated and antisocial. So I thought it was really fitting for us to have isolation crew. I thought it was pretty cool.
And what about you, Jair? Why do you think the isolation crew really fits you two? And then on a bigger note, the isolation crew, are you trying to make people who feel like they isolate themselves feel like they can get in the conversation? Are you trying to, what are you trying to do with how does the isolation crew tie to your conversations that you're going to have? And how do you think, again, first of all, it fits you?
Like Sydney said, we're both two kind of isolated, antisocial people. So it fits like how we are just in our daily lives.
And what do you mean when you say antisocial? Because you guys are both still pretty social. You talk, you engage, you.
We can have a conversation, doesn't mean we like to.
Oh, and so you guys want to do a podcast, but you don't like to talk to people.
Yeah, we like to talk to each other.
So
it's perfect. Somebody has to hear it.
So then how are you going to engage your audience? What are you going to talk about?
We talk about mostly like the culture, what's going on nowadays, our views on certain things that are happening now. But that's pretty much it. Like I feel like a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but I think ours is just pretty funny. So I think everybody should hear our thought process and how we think things through.
Okay, I'm trying to grab onto this.
Yeah.
So, have you guys done a podcast yet? And if so, what was it on?
We have shot a podcast. We've shot multiple actually. The first one was the origin of our friendship, and then the second one was what was the second one? Here?
Sassy men.
Sassy men, and what does that mean?
Are we in a sassy men era, basically?
Like men. How do I say it?
Just do you.
Men in our age group have gotten more and more, I don't want to say like feminine.
Men used to hunt, and it's not. No, it's been more like, I don't know. I feel like they've developed feminine traits, basically.
And is that a good or a bad thing?
No. I'm more of a person that prefers an alpha male, so I don't like that. But, everybody, has their own taste.
Okay, because I think they've just come into the era of, when Jair was a child, back in Washington, I went and got, hold on, I went and got my feet done every 2 weeks, and he went in there with me a lot, and I got his feet done. He really learned to it.
That's not sassy. That's
See,
taking care of yourself.
There you go. Because I wanted to just get that out there so that people can get a better understanding.
It's not taking care of yourself. Your grooming is nice too. I like you to take care of yourself. That's not it.
Grooming yourself is
it's
how you carry yourself.
Yes. Yes. And then like your morals and mostly probably how you were raised though.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, we are in an era where like a lot of people were raised by single mothers, and not saying single mothers can't raise like alpha males, but a lot of people were raised by single mothers who didn't necessarily teach them masculine traits. So that's what we are stuck with nowadays.
Right. Yeah, they watch their mother getting up and getting dressed and doing her hair and putting on the lipstick and the makeup and all of that, and really being tidy. Although those are all traits that I actually really like. But now they've gotten to where they don't do some of the more of the what you guys are calling masculine things that they used to. They want to sit in the house on the couch and watch TV more. They don't go outside and chop wood and play football and run up and down the streets. And that's what you guys are talking about. So I'm just trying to let people get a feel for what you guys mean when you say these
Sassy era.
Sassy.
the sassy era for
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
So how often are you guys going to, well, let me go back. You said you've recorded 2 sessions. When are they going to go live, and where can people go see them?
We will be trying to post. I'm trying to post next week on Friday. What day is that? What is the date? I think
Friday was the 9th.
so. 17.
9 and 7 is 16.
16.
The 16th. Next Friday is the 16th of
Okay.
February.
So the 16th of February, I'm trying to post both, so people have 2 episodes to listen to, so that when we drop, you have multiple things to listen to and not just one.
And where can they go find you when they go looking for your podcast?
Well, it's in our Instagram bio. The link will be in our Instagram bio. Our Instagram is at the Insulation Crew.
Isolation. You said insulation.
At the Isolation Crew. That's their. See what I'm working with? See? At the Isolation Crew. That's their Instagram something. So around the 16th, when I see it go live, I'm gonna put something out there and let y'all know to go out there and look for it and check it out and see what they had to talk about and see if you can get a feel for where they think they're going.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are them doing them and their opinions, not professing it to be anybody else's opinion. You know, my model that I've come up with, and I've been saying it more and more lately, is do you. What do I mean by that? And that's why I have this titled, the Do You. This is episode 2. I kind of fubbed episode 1 yesterday with my nephew Sam, but we coming back and we're going to get it recorded and it's going to be out there. But anyway, do you refers to, I think, people these days, and this is just MamaFe's opinion, people are more and more trying to live their lives through other people's lens. And so people are losing themselves. And even with the high social media, everybody's listening to how other people see them, what other people think about them. So they kind of view themselves based on other people's opinions of them, rather than how do they feel about themselves. You can't be what somebody else needs you to be, who somebody else needs you to be. You have to be your authentic selves. And that's why my song and dance is do you. Do what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable. And whether somebody on social media said they didn't like your dress yesterday, or they didn't like your hair, they think you're too big, too fat, too short, too tall. Don't worry about nobody else. What are you comfortable with? That's what's going to carry you. Do you. Now with that, I got one last question, because you know I'm MamaFe, faith of a mustard seed. Sydney, I'm going to go with you first. Give me an instance where you think that you had to rely on that mustard seed faith to get you through.
I think, when I first moved here, everything was really out of my control because I was in high school. So I feel like I moved here with my family just off of a word that my parents got. My parents are both pastors, and we moved here, we were homeless, and I was like, look here, Jesus. We're going to have to figure something out, because I can't be walking around here homeless. We're going to have to go back home or something. So, I had to have some faith that God was going to do a little something. And he did.
And even in high school, you felt like that,
Yeah,
huh?
definitely. I think like seeing my parents do it all and like having blind faith, really, I think that really helped me a lot with how I am today and how I am as an adult. Living my life.
And how are you now as far as your family? Because you said you guys were homeless. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we were homeless for about, I think like a month, maybe. Like I was still going to school, and then we were staying in like an extended stay, and we were trying to find a house. We couldn't find a house, and then we finally found one. I was like cheering at football games and still like being homeless, and then eventually we found a home, and now they have a ministry. And the ministry, they were just starting their ministry out. Now their ministry, they travel every month. They have a really international ministry, and yeah, they're doing really good for themselves.
See, look at God. What do I keep saying? If you learn to serve others, you'll also serve yourself. So see, they took that something where they were here and they struggled when they first got here, and now they have flipped that, and now they're both pastoring, doing ministry and helping others and serving others.
Yeah.
Look at God. Come on now. Okay, Jair, give me a moment where you feel like you had to have mustard seed faith to get you through it.
Probably after first semester of college.
Okay, expound on that a little bit because I know exactly what he's talking about.
um, just not having, probably having, not even probably having the worst grades I've ever had in school. Being on academic probation, um, and then almost getting academically suspended from West Virginia. So I kind of had to lean on my faith because that had never happened to me before. I'd never been in jeopardy of ever um, not being in school. So I kind of just had to every day just ask God, just take me through the day, help me, guide me through every decision. And I was supposed to graduate a year late, but I still graduated on time.
Amen.
There you go. Jair started in 2018 and he graduated in 2022. We was like, oh, this is a 4-year thing. And I'll tell you, it took a lot out of us when we went to West Virginia and found out how the first semester was going. Everybody was sitting in the room shocked, eyes big, mouth wide open, and a few words coming out the mouth. But instead of pulling him out of school and saying, nope, this has been a failure, you got to come home, we said, no, you're going to stay and we're going to continue to help you. We're going to put some things in place. So we made a few little edits to where he was living, how he was living. Ain't got no shame. Stood up a tutor, all of that kind of stuff. And then he had to work at recovering. But we allowed him to recover and he graduated on time in 4 years. So praise ye the Lord. I always say, a lot of times when we think we're at our lowest, God's just telling you, no, I'm trying to get your attention. You're doing some things wrong. I had to get your attention in order to get you back on track. And so faith of a mustard seed, it doesn't take a lot. You have to just trust and believe. That's when you have to dig deep because a lot of times you can't even see where this is going, but you have to trust and believe that God got you. He ain't gonna never put more on you than you can bear. So with that, I'm excited that I got to introduce you to Jair. Justice for Jair. He picked that up in the Big Brother house. That was, I think Mimi used to say it the most. Justice for Jair. Justice for Jair. Mm-mm-mm. And then Miss Sydney. These two are besties. They've been knowing each other since high school, and I'm wishing them all the best in this podcast for the isolators. And I'm hoping at some point they'll stop looking at themselves as people that are isolated and don't really like to be around people, because I see them differently. I see them differently than that, and I think they're going to make a big impact in the future down the road in what they do. I wish them all the best. MamaFe out. Smooches.